Trump made it, and now his approval ratings are in, and they tanked. I don't know if any. Well, hold on.
Appropriate.
Y'all voted for him. I don't know if any of you are aware, but if you watch the news, whether it's Fox News, NBC News, Trump is unifying the country. He's unifying media to say that he's not doing a good job. Even though there's some reports that come out, there's little speckles of like trying to make it look like everybody is uniformed in that Trump is not doing the best. Now, 100 days into office, and there's polls going out to show that he's not doing well. So how do you think he's doing? This is your president, the one that told you he was going to make sure that them chickens were going to lay least expensive eggs, and that the gas was going to be great. And if you don't like gas, just go get a Tesla, because he was selling them on the front lawn of the White House. And if you want to Google it, don't worry about it. All the Google buddies are all his friends. Mark Zuckerberg, Elon, everybody. Doge, you can't Doge this. Well, according to a new Washington Post, ABC News is Ipsos, whatever, IPSOS. SOS is more than a Rihanna song. It's the ratings. He's doing horrible. Now, the poll surveyed 2,464 United States adults between April 18th and April 22nd, 2025. Its results found that only 39% of Americans answered yes when asked, do you approve of the way that Donald Trump is handling his job as president? The 39% approval rating marks a steep 6% drop from February 2025's 45% yes rating, which was coupled with a 55% no rating. Now, according to ABC News, the poll dates back 80 years to 1945, and Donald Trump has both the first and second worst ratings, because in 2017, he was in office for the first time. He received a 42% rating, and now he's at 39%, a 3% drop from the worst rating that had been rated in years. Now, here's Trump's rating against 13 other U.S. presidents. Take a look. Now, you can see everyone from Truman to Trump, and you see that from 87% all the way to 55. Anyway, 55% disapproval rating. All right, well, anyway, that means that Obama did better than you.
And Biden.
Mm-hmm. And Biden, too. Mm-hmm. Now, the poll also surveyed Americans on Trump's prices, economy, and likelihood of a recession. Now, take a look at the poll. Okay, 72% believe that we're likely to head to a recession. So just to break this down for those of you that are watching and saying, oh my God, what are all these numbers? My head is hurting. And trust me, my head is hurting too. I don't even know. 42 minus 3 plus 5 carry over the 1. It was a lot of math. But what's not mathing to me is that all of y'all voted, all you Cubans who Cuban danced your ass right out the country. Those of you that are in El Salvador watching this from the prison, hey, MS-13. All of you immigrants that said he don't like you. Women, your uteruses are on display. Blacks, trans, gays, everybody out there, all of y'all that voted. Because now, oh, sorry. Y'all did that. Y'all did that. When you look at the ratings, does it surprise you that people feel that way?
No, because again, a lot of these people were voting with a single-minded decision going into the ballot box. So they were like, oh, all these policies aren't going to affect me. So they didn't care that he was, openly saying he was going to target immigrants. He was openly talking about, changing all the policies that we know benefit us in a great way. But they were just solely focused on the fact that it wasn't going to hurt them. And now it's hurting their pockets, hurting their lifestyle, hurting their businesses. Now they're all up in arms.
I don't think it's surprising. And I think Kanye and Donald Trump have the same thing where they love the hatred. Like they love when people hate on them. It I feel builds them up and snowballs more power in their mind.
Yeah. The one thing I will say is that I'm still not mad at what he's doing. I'm more mad that you all allowed him to do it because he told you who he was. Yep. He told you what he was going to do. If anything, he is probably the first president to actually do every single thing he said he was going to do. So in many respects, you got to respect the fact that if the devil tells you hell is hot, don't go down there on a trip to see what the weather's like, right? You kind of told you. Trump is single-handedly rolling back everything that we fought to get. Then I say we as a country, because whether you're Republican or Democrat, I mean, you can have your viewpoints on certain things, but what the world thinks of us, what the world believes in us, what we believe in, how we're coexisting, because we do live on a planet with other people, by the way, just so you know. It's not like China and all these other countries are aliens, although that's what he keeps calling them on the news. Now we're in a fight with China, and China is kicking our ass in the tariffs. I mean, every time I look now, are we up to 200% now? What does a 200% tariff look like?
It looks like we can't afford to buy anything anymore.
Don't even go to Walmart and try to get a patty pie, because Walmart's telling us that they're taking everything off the shelves. They're saying everything's going to be off the shelves.
It's ridiculous.
Okay. Well, while most Americans believe Trump lied about his campaign promises of lowering prices with the poll to back it up, Trump says everyone's clearly blind. Take a look.
Weeks ago that struck me. You said concerning the tariffs, which economists say are going to raise prices, you said, quote, hang tough. Yeah. It won't be easy. You said that to the American people. Is that what Americans should expect, some hard times?
I've said that during my campaign. Look, we won a campaign by a lot. We won all 7 swing states. We won the popular vote by a lot. We had a tremendous campaign. I said all of these things during my campaign. I said, you're going to have a transition period. We've been ripped off by every country all over the world. They're laughing at us. They thought we were stupid people, and we were. And I said, that's not going to happen. We're not going to let that happen.
Hard times are ahead?
I don't think so. I think great times are ahead. Look, since I came in, gasoline is down, groceries are down, egg prices are down. Many things are down, just about everything. You don't have the drop in fuel and energy and oil like we did. I took it from maybe $3.20, maybe more than that, down into a much lower number. When you have that kind of a drop, you're not going to have inflation.
Not now, but it's the tariffs, right? We still have 145% tariffs on China. Your Treasury Secretary said we basically have an embargo on China.
Look, you're trying to say something's going to happen, Terry.
No, okay, well,
nothing's going to happen.
You know business.
Terry,
I want to ask you.
I do know business.
Yes, so 145% tariffs on China, and that's good. Basically an embargo.
They deserve it.
It'll raise prices on everything from electronics to clothing to building houses.
You don't know that. You don't know whether or not China's going to eat it.
That's mathematics.
China probably will eat those tariffs, but at 145, they basically can't do much business with the United States. And they were making from us $1 trillion a year. They were ripping us off like nobody's ever ripped us off. And by the way, we have other countries that were just as bad. If you look at the European Union, it was terrible what they've done to us. Every country, almost every country in the world was ripping us off.
Now, Donald is the president is either going to send us into a recession or he's going to come out as the most brilliant deal maker in U.S. history. What do you believe is going to happen?
I want to be hopeful. I don't like to live in fear of like, it's been 100 days. It feels like 100 years. But I hope it's going to get better because I love Shein.
What's going on with Shein?
It's overseas, Fashion Nova.
And you guys can't order right now?
Tariffs.
So I pray, please, for the sake of my clothes.
It's definitely going to be a recession. He does not have some master plan. He literally thinks that this is the way to bring manufacturing back to America, but that is not like a short-term plan. And that's why when he keeps saying things like, oh, it's going to, his campaign promise was eggs are going to be cheaper on day one. And now there's going to be a period of pain. And I think he said the other day, instead of your kids getting $30 for Christmas, they might get $2, and those $2 might be more expensive. But like he can say that because he's rich, and the average American can't say that.
Well, and a lot of average Americans right now in the current economy aren't going to even have a Christmas.
Correct.
I mean, if you've been following me, we gave Christmas to over 3,000, almost 4,000 families the last 2 years in Stockton, and we'll be back again this year. It's the happiest time of the year for us. But the happiest time of the year for all of us should have been voting in Kamala Harris. And this is not even about being Democrat or Republican. This is about just being sane. I understand, again, why Americans are frustrated with our system. We have a two-party system that was designed before I was alive. It'll be probably here after I'm gone. But I mean, we only had two choices. So what it comes down to is, what's the litmus test? Who's the best? who can sound the best, because she sounded the best to me. I don't know who you people are that voted this in, but I will tell you, no matter where you are, your Egg McMuffins have gone up. Everything is up, and it affects everything. I went to Neiman Marcus to buy an outfit when I was just to look, whatever, and I looked at a sweater marked up 10% for the tariffs before they even come, because they're anticipating that they're coming. Because companies have to start thinking the long game, like how do I, Yep. Well, on top of lying about making America great again, Trump is coming for the Jews. He fired several members of the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum's board. Many of them were appointed by former President Joe Biden, including Douglas Emhoff, the husband of the Vice President Kamala Harris. Here's what Doug had to say about his firing. Today, I was informed of my removal from the United States Holocaust Memorial Council. Holocaust remembrance and education should never be politicized. To turn one of the worst atrocities in history into a wedge issue is dangerous, and it dishonors the memory of 6 million Jews murdered by Nazis that this museum was created to preserve. Surprise?
Nope.
It's given like real life Apprentice, like he just fired everybody in real life for no reason.
Others fired, including Ron Klain, Biden's first chief of staff, Tom Perez, ex-labor secretary, Susan Rice, domestic policy advisor and anti-Semitism activist, and Anthony Bernal, a top advisor to Joe Biden. Everyone was originally expected to last 5 years after being appointed earlier this year. However, the Trump administration pulled the plug early, igniting new controversy. Now, White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt, who nobody likes, responded to the drama and said, it's all about realignment, not retaliation. Let me show you what she said. President Trump looks forward to appointing new individuals who will not only continue to honor the memory of those who perished in the Holocaust, but who are also steadfast supporters of the state of Israel. President Trump looks forward to appointing new individuals who will not only continue to honor the memory of those who perished in the Holocaust, but who are also steadfast supporters of the state of Israel. Did she say that twice, or did we just read it twice?
Don't ask me.
Either way, it's just as crazy as the whole thing. I went this past weekend to what's called in Stockton the Edible Food Garden, and they have this beautiful edible food garden with different vegetables and stuff like that, fruits and vegetables that the black farmers are creating in our community. They lost federal funding, so people don't understand that elections matter. And although sometimes you don't feel the impact at the city level, now some people are feeling it. Food banks not getting funding, so that means the food that families need, and there's some people that are employed that still need that extra support. Now they don't have access to food. I mean, you're literally starving a nation. But again, all I can say is y'all voted for this, and now you have to sit here for 4 years and go through what, if in the last 100 days this is what we've been able to experience. What do the 4 years look like? Do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely, because it's going to be more and more of this train wreck of him implementing Project 2025, which he kept saying over and over again he didn't know anything about. But like you just said, like those small social programs are all the things that are being most impacted because they're losing federal funding. Like those small programs, they're cutting those funds to save money for billionaires and corporations so that they can save on taxes. So the regular people are struggling, and it's just going to be more and more and more and more and more of this.
And this just feels like spinning the wheels for nothing, because it's all people that Joe Biden appointed for Israel, and it's just weird because kids are still being murdered in Gaza. Like, why are we trying to figure that out instead of the Holocaust thing? Not to, that's like not to ignore the Holocaust, but still, it's just weird.
Yeah, no, I mean, the
Like,
Holocaust was a real
dying.
tragedy that the world sat by and watched, just like you're watching in Congo.
And Gaza still.
True. Libya.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
True.
Those are conversations we want to talk about.
Yep.
So, when you look at what's happening in countries like Haiti or other countries of color that are struggling too, we're sitting by very silent. The United States is sitting by silent. They're telling us what they think about people of color all over the world, including those in our country. And now there's rumblings that Trump may be instituting martial law, which gives the police and authorities more authority on how they control Americans. So if you didn't think Project 2025 was a thing, and if you still haven't downloaded ChatGPT, please do so right after this show, because a well-informed community is one who can defend itself. All right, Trump. Well, see you in the next 100 days.